Happy days, good evening ladies and gents. I'm down here at my local gym. I'm going to take you through some of the exercises I like to do to support my running. Let's get into it. First things first, I like to just hop on the bike, get a little bit warm, just get the blood flowing in the legs, so I'm not going to pull any muscles once I go into the exercises. Bash. Right, so now we're nice and warm. First step, we start stripping off some clothes. What I like to do now is just go into a compound lift before then going into some accessories. So starting off then, I'm just going to set up the squat. Right, happy days. Moving into our compound lift then. So I've got 60 kilos on the bar. Now just going to do sort of one warm up set, just to get a little feel for it. Just get the legs going. That concludes squat. Now we're going to move on to some accessory exercises, which I'll take you over there for in just 1 minute. Let me just turn this off. Moving on to my first accessory exercise, barbell glute thrusts. I think that's what it's called. Essentially, just where you're laying on your back, laying with your back on the bench, and you're just thrusting that barbell up towards the sky. That's what we're trying to achieve. This is what I'm going to do. Right, barbell. Feel this bloody bench moving back. Grr. Look at there. Right, I think we're good to go. Add a little bit more weight on and see how we get on. In my other gym at work, we actually have one of the machines that has a platform built for this, which is obviously good because you don't have that bench sliding away. So if you've got one of them, fantastic. However, when you don't, you've just got to make do, you know? Make do with what you got. Bosh, happy days. Now, if you wanted to superset your barbell glute thrusts, I recommend doing this exercise in between sets, just to get that little burner in the muscle. Glute bridges, but how I like to do it is sets of 10. So I do 10 double leg, 10 single leg, 10 other leg, and then back into 10 double leg again. So 40 in total. So 10, 10, 10, and then 10. That should give you a nice little burner in the legs, get you good to go. And now moving down the legs to the hamstrings, where we're going to conduct Romanian deadlift. This is how I'd conduct it. So feet shoulder width apart, grabbing the bar just slightly wider than that, shoulder width apart. Keeping the bar nice and close to us in this movement. And then from here, shoulders back. It'll just be our bums going back, keeping them legs locked in that slightly bent position. There we go. Second pause, feel the stretch. Standing up. And that's it really. Beautiful reps. RDL, nipped. Roger, moving on. It's a little something called improvise, adapt and overcome. Obviously in this gym, we don't have a seated Soleus raise machine. So I've had to adapt. How I would do this is I'd either use a barbell or I'd use dumbbells, something to sit across the quads, something to toe raise off. So as you can see on the floor here, I've just got this metal beam support arm that I've just put on the floor. Just give my feet a little bit of elevation off the ground. Weight across here, back nice and straight. Support the weight in position and then just raising the toes. What I'm looking to do here is just get a second pause at the top and then coming back down. What this does is isolate the soleus now. So if I was stood up, it will be my gastrocnemius, the bigger muscle, working. However, when I'm seated like this, it sort of takes the tension off the gastrocnemius and applies it to the soleus, which is good because that's what we're trying to target, because we're trying to strengthen them smaller muscle groups to support the bigger ones. So this is how I do it. Onto the quads, feet raised slightly. Ooh. Now, what I haven't done, but what you can do is obviously get the barbell cushioning, just sit over the quads and I'll make it a little bit more comfortable for you there. Slow on the way down, up and squeeze. Just repeating that. There we are, soleus raises, obviously seated. Straight from this, I like to do a bit of a, not a drop set, what's the word I'm looking for? Superset. I like to do a bit of a superset, and then I'd go into calf raises straight after that. So obviously I'm just going to use this just for demonstration, straight into our calf raises. Obviously I'm trying not to use what I'm using to support me too much. I'm just using it to stabilize my legs and then focusing on them calf raises. Same again, second pause at the top. I'm just trying to get a second pause in the contraction and in the stretch. And usually, obviously after doing the seated soleus raises, I'd come into this and I'd just do it to failure on either leg. That's it really. We've got some alternatives. So if you're not a big fan of doing like RDLs, if in your gym you've got the machines, I recommend just using the machines. You know, what you're trying to do is just isolate that muscle. Slow on the way up, second pause, contract. And just repeating that. I don't know if you can actually see me there. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and Billy's your fucking inbred cousin. Nipped. And that is pretty much what I do for supplementary exercises to support my running. I don't overcomplicate it. I just try hit some glutes, some soleus, hamstrings, all the posterior chain basically.